Live. Welcome, family, to another show. Today, I have a repeated guest from the company No Excuse Travel. My guy, what's going on, brother?
What's going on, bro? All good.
Oh, good. Now, our last interview, man, it was a little controversial. It was titled "Why South Africa is 10 times better than Brazil." You got a lot of a lot of slack because of that, but you made some good points, some good valid points. So now what we want to do is we want to actually break down the city to make it a little bit more uh informational because we was trying to compare countries, which is very difficult, when it's easier to compare cities. So right now we're doing a comparison of Rio de Janeiro or De Janeiro or something like that, and Durban, South Africa. Now you are currently in South Africa, right? Durban.
Yeah, currently in Durban.
Okay, so I want to get this point real across. Most people don't they go to Cape Town before they go to Durban?
Yeah, so right now, the international flights typically you either arrive in Johannesburg
Hmm.
or Cape Town. So Durban is like an extra flight. It's pretty similar to getting to Salvador. Like Salvador, Brazil used to be an international, um, stop, but now
Hmm.
years ago they changed Salvador and just made it Rio and Sao Paulo. So that's kind of how it is, South Africa.
Okay, okay. And the main three in South Africa is Cape Town, Durban, and Johannesburg, correct?
Yeah, yeah,
Now, in
three
the
largest
previous
cities.
video, you was moving around all three of them, and you said that your favorite was Durban. Tell us why.
My favorite is Durban because just traveling. The places that we frequent, they're typically our warm spots,
Hmm.
spots with beaches and things like that. So Durban was more similar to what we are accustomed to traveling for the weather, the beaches, and just nice things. Because every city we travel to, whether it's Rio, um, Medellin, Cartagena, those are beautiful cities,
Hmm.
and it's nice. So going to Johannesburg, which some people do like, or Cape Town, some people do like, they don't have the year-round weather as Durban, and then also, I was at least for Johannesburg is not as where we would go to is not as clean and as new as like a Durban or even a Cape Town. So
Hmm.
um, I think brothers would like Durban based on the cities that we love.
Okay, okay. Because you had made a post in the Black Man Travels 2.0 group, and I think a guy was like, "No, you just have to know where to go in Johannesburg." But you're saying Johannesburg is, it's okay. It's just all right in comparisons to Durban.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was people that said they know where to go, but then I posted videos of where I went to Johannesburg, and
Hmm.
so they really couldn't say anything. So it was like, okay, well, he went to Santan or Mabanang, which are popular destination spots. But what it boils down to is just that's just not. I just wasn't feeling it like that. Not saying other
Hmm.
brothers wouldn't feel it like that, but I wasn't feeling it like that. So that was
Hmm.
my take.
Now, why wasn't you feeling Johannesburg like that?
One feeling Johannesburg because one going out, and I went and this is my second trip to South Africa, so um, I had a repeat experience. Like I felt like going out, I felt like the ratio of man to woman was higher, which is cool for females that want to go to Johannesburg. Is cool, but for me as a male, if I want to party and I want to meet women and things like that, I want the ratios in my favor. Because
Hmm.
everywhere else we go, the ratios is more women than females. So I didn't really like that. And then also it was a little colder. Um, the time of the year I went, you have to wear a jacket, and like I mean, the vibe is just different when it's cooler versus when it's warmer. And then
Hmm.
like parts of and it's not safe in a lot of places. Like you have to be protective of your phone. You do in other cities as well, but I know people personally that got robbed like in June that was there. And then we know the big
Hmm.
YouTuber Jabril had a home invasion experience. So I mean, being robbed in Johannesburg is not um it's possible.
Right.
So overall I just think it's just not the best destination for brothers that want to experience South Africa for the first time.
Good point. Good point. Now, just to give this video some context, how many times have you been to Brazil?
I've been to Brazil a lot. And I've mentioned this before. I've been to 13 cities in Brazil, so I'll probably cover more major cities in Brazil than probably anyone that I know in the travel community. So I've been to 13 cities. I've been to Brazil in and out over the past 5 years. So I'm very familiar with Brazil.
Okay, and have you been to any other countries besides South Africa and Africa?
Ethiopia was the only other one.
Okay, because we had a question in the room that asked why South Africa over other African countries, but you pretty much only been to Ethiopia, so.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to know why I chose South Africa, I could explain that quickly.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, South Africa got 54 countries, so you don't know what to go to first, right? So I had to go with what's important to me. So I want to go somewhere where you could buy land as a foreigner outright, just like you could buy land in Colombia, Brazil, and DR. So when I researched, it was like four countries where I could do that at. It was South Africa, Namibia, Zimbabwe, and Botswana. The other African countries let you do 99 leases, or you could buy agricultural land. But for residential purposes, it was those four countries. So I felt like I wanted to visit South Africa because I wanted to start there, and then I like curvaceous women. So, and I heard South Africa has a lot of curvaceous women as well. So I was like, let me visit South Africa. Like, it's known, people been there. It's first class. It's not a third world country. So I wanted to start there.
Okay. So we got a lot of questions in the chat talking about why South Africa over Brazil, but we're gonna get to that. So first, what we're gonna do, guys, is we're gonna do a comparison list, travel budget list, basically. We did it before we did the show. We can go ahead and pull it on up. Here we go, right here. Let's go to the side. All right. So this is like a budget guideline. These are like the most important categories that you're going to be thinking about anywhere you travel in the world. And we did a comparison from Rio to Durban. We compared the two cities. So we'll start off with the first category in housing. You want to explain the housing in Durban versus Rio?
Oh yeah. So my housing experience in Rio, and I mean this kind of expands through most of Brazil, is that a lot of housing in Rio is dated. Anybody that been to Rio, and I see Jeremy in the chat, so he could attest to this, that you have a lot of issues. Like they have sewage. They have a sewage issue problem. So like I stayed in some Airbnbs in Rio, for example, and you can smell the water smells bad.
Bro, you know why I'm laughing, right? Because I think we were talking about this earlier when I moved to Baja the Chuca, basically.
You experience the water, man. Like some places, like the water, you like, and then also like I said, a lot of places is dated. I had a mites experience in Brazil.
Oh, what?
Mites are like little mites. They're like little micro bugs.
Okay, micro bugs. Okay.
And I was like itching. I was itching for like 2 months, man. It was a crazy experience. So I try to stay in hotels when in Rio, huh?
You are so right, man. I stayed in Copacabana for about a month, and I'm gonna be honest with you guys, man. I just wasn't comfortable like that. I'm just being, I love Rio. I love, Copacabana, Ipanema, to go out to the beach and have a good time. But it's just one of them. Like, I don't care how nice the building might look. It's just so dated. You feel like it's bugs crawling on the interior of the building or something. So I understand what you're saying about the mites, and I also understand about, when you go outside and you smell and you be like, yo, what's up with that? Like it kind of just throws you off a little bit. So I definitely understand that, man.
Yeah. So I'm a hotel guy when it comes to Brazil now, but unless you got a good Airbnb recommendation in Rio, but Durban, Durban is like in the tourist area. Durban is a newer area, and you won't have the issues that you would see in Rio. And I would say the costs are pretty much the same. It's just really depending on what you want. I definitely get it. I gave the edge to Durban on
So as far as the pricing, if I was to stay, let's kind of do just a average because in Copacabana, Ipanema area, you can kind of get a monthly rental for I would say a little less than $1,000, anywhere from 500 on the low end all the way up to maybe 1,000. That gets you something a little nicer. But as far as most guys, they're traveling for like a week or 2 weeks. So like, what's the average per night in a nice little area in Durban versus Rio?
the house. I would say the average per night maybe between 40 and 50 a night.
And that's in Durban.
That's in Durban. But you know,
Okay.
if you were staying over 30 days, and a lot of them have like
The
monthly discounts.
right. Okay. And you saying there, are you like near? Is this like a near the beach? Is it beachfront properties or how's it set up over there?
So the area in Durban is called Umshanga. It's called Umshanga, but
Mhm.
it's close to the beach. Um, Not necessarily a beach view, but it's close to the beach. Like for me to get to the beach, I would say it takes me about 5 minutes in an Uber. But
Mhm.
you're in the main tourist area, and yeah, you have access to malls, restaurants, all that.
Okay, cool. Now we gotta talk about this because you was telling me something about Durban earlier, as far as because this is kind of we gotta let guys know this as far as this definitely goes to the category of housing. What's going on with the power outages there?
Okay, so they have something called load shedding, which is not limited to South Africa. Other
Mhm.
countries go through it as well. But load shedding is the country overproduces electricity, and
Mhm.
so they try to limit that by you know cutting off power for 2 hour periods. It could be for different days during the week. You know, what I mean, it may be no electricity for 2 hours. So
Mhm.
instead of them wasting fossil fuels to burn energy that they're not gonna use, they just kind of shut it down for like 2 hours in a particular day.
Okay, now do they have like you get a warning or like a time frame? Like, okay, the power's gonna be out from 3 to 5, or it just shuts off.
No, you get a warning.
Okay.
You know in advance when it's gonna happen.
Okay. I mean, that's a little different, man. But do the places have like backup, like the Airbnbs, the buildings have any type of backup generators? Because you might be doing something you might need your power.
Yeah, some places do. Some Airbnb listings say we do have generator.
Hmm.
I have this device. Um, I've seen this in Colombia and DR as well. So
Okay,
when the
what
lights
what
go
what
out,
is that, bro? Okay.
it's called magneto, but
Uh-huh.
it's light that's produced with magnetic energy. So when the lights go out, you know, what I mean, you can have this light source if you want to do something in the meantime.
Oh, so it's just a big flashlight.
Basically,
Can you put plugs in there? Can you power anything out? Like it's like a power bank as well. Oh my
yeah,
dog. Come
they
on, bro. Y'all
they
be
have
walking
it like
around with that.
they have the USB. They have a
Uh,
USB. They have a AC/DC outlet as well. But I mean, for 2 hours,
mhm.
I mean, you just got to live with what you can do. You know.
Now, how often does this happen? Is this like a daily thing or once a week?
I mean, I've been in South Africa 2 times over maybe a 3 week span. This was the first time I experienced it, so
Okay.
um, you know, it might be once a week,
Hmm.
once a month. You know, I'm not sure the frequency.
Okay, that's not bad. Shout out to my guy Xavier Lancaster, man. I appreciate the $5 super chat, man. I know you over there up in Europe. He has a question for you. He says, "Are there lots of black-owned businesses there, or Indians own all the businesses?" I'm not familiar with the Indian thing over there, so what's going on as far as the business owners?
I mean, in Durban, I mean, you do have a large Indian population, so yes,
Mhm.
they have businesses. Um, yeah, South Africans have businesses as well. I was just at a couple of South African
Mhm.
establishments. So yeah, all the nationalities own, you know, have businesses. I mean, whites kind of have I would say the prime real estate right now, being close to,
Mm-hmm.
they have most of the oceanfront properties. And I had drove by a house today. I was in an Uber. I drove by a house and it had a swastika symbol on the house. I was like, wow,
That's disappointing to hear, man.
that
To see
is.
that in South
I was
Africa,
sad to
man.
see that. I'm like,
Because you
we'd
can't
have
put a
burned that house
swastika in the
up.
house in America anywhere. If it's any black people around, anybody around, it's going to be problems.
I mean, they have a lot of gated. These people with mansions. They have gated electric fencing around the house and stuff like that. But still, like,
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't
Do
hidden.
you think the South Africans knows what that mean though?
No, because I asked somebody that I was with. I was like, this house had a swastika. They didn't know what it meant.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wow. That's a little disappointing to hear. Wow. Okay. So let's go to the next category. We got flights. Now you gave Rio the edge over Durban. Tell us why.
Rio. I mean, the prices to Brazil has went down drastically over the last 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so you can definitely fly from the East Coast or even Miami. From New York or Miami, you could definitely get there for under $700 round trip. Even lower if you catch a good sale. So yeah, it's definitely cheaper now than it was 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Cool. 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 Now, so what's like an average price if I'm leaving, let's say DC? What's the average price am I going to be paying to go to Durban?
Okay. So if I was advising anybody to fly to South Africa, I would want to fly nonstop from the
Mm-hmm.
US. So the only airline that offers nonstop flights is United. And United Hub is out of Newark, New Jersey. They do have flights out of DC as well, but they still go to Newark to go out. So I would say from what I took from Newark to Johannesburg, because that's the nonstop flight.
Mm-hmm.
It's a 13-hour flight, and depending on
Woo!
the time of the year, the prices will be between 750 and 850 round trip.
That's not bad at all, though.
No, that's not bad.
That's close to Rio a little bit. Around that little general area.
Right. If you live on the East Coast, yeah, but if you got to come from another city, so that means you got to catch maybe another $200 round trip flight to get to Newark, and then you got to pay, and then that one way, so you might be looking at $1,000, a little over 1,000 if you want to catch that flight.
Okay, okay. Now, what do you do for them 13 hours on the flight, man? Non-stop. That's a good look. You almost going to Thailand. That's like 14 hours.
Yeah, Thailand a little longer. It's a little longer because you got to connect in Japan, or you got to connect in some Asian country before you go to Thailand. So that's a longer flight. But to your point, 13 hours. Those flights are those flights are not evening flights. So most of the time they catching you pretty much where it's time to go to bed. So I could pretty much slump it out for
Mm-hmm.
7 to 8 hours. Wake up, watch a movie, chill, think, whatever. I mean, for me, like I could get through it. It's when you take those long flights in the morning that be hard. But it's an evening flight, so I think guys can get through it. New York to Sao Paulo is like 11, I believe.
Mm, really? Okay, okay. Now let's go down to the food. You gave Rio the edge over the food. I thought South Africa had some really good food. Uh, why does Rio get the edge over that?
Well, when we talk about just local cuisine, far as Brazilian food, far as South African food,
Mm-hmm.
I would say Brazilian has, I would say, more diverse options as far as food. So that's why I kind of say Rio. But in general, like South Africa is an international country, so they have foods from neighboring countries. I went to a good Mozambique restaurant, um, Ethiopian food. They have Indian food. So as far as just food in general,
Mm-hmm.
I would probably like Durban better because I could get a lot of more of the foods that I like in the US. Like if I want Indian food, I could get Indian food. Not saying you can't get Indian food in Brazil, but Indians live there, you know. So just as far as local cuisine, I just gave it to Rio, but just overall, I mean, I think you could get a lot of good food in South Africa.
Now, have you tried, like, you know how every country has like a traditional dish, or every city? Have you tried some traditional dishes there in Durban?
Yeah, I tried traditional South Africa food. They have a dish, a typical dish usually is like tripe. I don't know if you heard of tripe before, but it's
Oh
like
yeah, of course.
it's different. Depends on animal. Some people eat
Are
the
you talking about? I thought you
intestines
talking
of
about fish. You talking about the fish?
no.
Okay,
No, it's like stomach lining. So it's like either stomach
stomach lining.
lining or intestines of like a goat, a cow,
Oh
and
man, you talking about chitlins? It sound like chitlins.
yeah, Larry. Yeah,
Oh
our
nah,
background,
I'm good
our
on that,
background
bro.
was chillings.
Oh,
Yeah,
chitlins. Yeah, we call them chitlins in the South. Okay. Yeah, I'm good
yeah,
on that, man. And that's the traditional dish out there. I'm good on that, bro.
yeah. It's one of their traditional dishes, and they have something called pop, which is like a white starchy thing where you just kind of dip it in like gravy and stuff like that. So they have a few, but it's just not a
Yeah.
lot.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Now, as far as the exchange rate, we're talking specifically how far the U.S. dollar goes. You're saying it goes farther there than in Rio?
Rio is Rio is a more is the I would say one of the most expensive city in Brazil.
Mm-hmm.
Durban being more one of the more cheaper cities in South Africa. So
Mm-hmm.
I feel like my money goes longer in Durban because I'm in a more cheaper city. Like Cape Town would probably be more on par with like Rio or something like that. So that's the difference. I'm in a cheaper city
Mm-hmm.
in South Africa, whereas Rio is the more expensive city in Brazil. So I feel like
Mm-hmm.
your spending power goes more in Durban.
Okay. Somebody says, how does Durban beat Rio for exchange? Brazil is 5-1, better ratio, more affordable.
Yeah, I don't go off ratio because ratio goes out the window
Right.
for certain things that you may pay for. So
Mm-hmm.
you might pay more for something in Rio than you would in Recife. So
Right. Because you're in a tourist area.
right.
Now, do you run into a lot of Americans out there? Because I don't think this city is not on a lot of Americans' radar, as far as I know.
No, it's not. I don't think I've ran into any Americans in Durban.
Okay.
Probably not even my time in South Africa.
Oh wow. So white or black, you don't run into too many Americans.
I haven't ran into any that I know of now.
Now we're gonna get to we're gonna get to the dating. That's gonna be the last part. But just real quick, does that make a big difference in when you approach women? Because in Rio, they kind of used to seeing Americans as a big tourist city. Uh, is there like a big difference when you say, "Hey, baby, I'm from America," or
I mean, when people hear my voice, I mean, the
Mhm.
accent knows that I'm not from there. Now, ironically, they don't think like how we used to them thinking America first, but they don't think America. They just like where is it the UK? Like America is not the first thing they think of when they notice that you're different. You know,
Okay.
so yeah, they think I'm from somewhere else, but American is not like the first thing. So
Okay, cool. Now, as far as the activities goes, you said Durban does have a beach, but you gave the edge over to Rio.
yeah, Rio is a tourist city. I mean, Durban is still kind of under the radar. It's like comparing Salvador to Rio, right? So yeah, Rio has the Christ statue, it has the beaches, it has the favelas you can do, the I can't even think of the name where the big mountain Sugarloaf.
Yep.
So yeah, so Rio has known things that you can do. Now, when you come to South Africa, any city you go to, you could probably set up a safari um, and probably visit some cultural sites. But I would give activities to Rio because it's more of a tourist destination.
Okay. Cool. Now, as far as the safety is concerned, you were saying that Durban is a whole lot safer than Rio.
Oh yeah, Durban's a whole lot safer than Rio. I mean, it's the crime, in the tourist area. The crime is not present. Um, there's a
Mhm.
lot of police presence, and obviously it's more of a white area. So I mean, they have kind of the best accommodations and security nets out there. Whereas Rio,
Mhm.
I've been faced attempted pickpocketing. I've seen
That's true. Me
somebody
too.
get their jewelry snatched. I've seen somebody get their jewelry snatched on a city bus.
Hmm.
I've heard stories. Heard about people getting killed and things like that. So yeah, Durban definitely safer.
Okay, cool. Now we're going to transportation. Do they have Uber out there?
Yep, they have Uber. They use the other apps like InDriver. The other one, it's another one. I forgot, but it's used other countries as well. So they do have the the apps for that.
Okay, cool. Now we got to the big session that everybody want to see. Well, that's why we saved it for last. We're going to the dating. Now, my man here has some receipts, and I'm gonna show them in a second. But just give us a
Yeah,
rundown on like
both.
the dating scene in Durban, and then we'll kind of verse it towards Rio.
I would say dating wise, I would say that if you were, I would say what we call pipelining, or trying to set up to meet different people. The dating sites, you get the most interactions from women in Durban. You know,
Hmm.
Rio, for me, Rio was brutal. I mean, a lot of guys have these saying, well, is you can be Portuguese, or if you ain't got swag, or if you're not attractive, whatever the case may be. I'm the same person in Rio that it was in Durban,
Hmm.
and the results were different. You know what I
Okay.
mean? So, whatever reasons people want to put out there are fine, but definitely more hits. Now, Johannesburg was was kind of hard. Cape Town was kind of hard, and I kind of understand why.
Hmm.
You just got more competition. You know what I mean? It's more dudes. Those women use those sites to meet local men. They're not on those sites to meet um, foreign men, because they're not used to that. Same for Rio. Women in Rio, they're looking for local men as well. And there's so much competition in Rio. Brazilian men in general are attractive men to them. So,
Hmm.
what I mean? You got that competition. So I stayed in Rio for a week alone and got one solid match. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? And some dry nights. Not that I couldn't pull, not that I couldn't pull, or put in extra effort to like pull something. But I'm just saying, if I'm using the same strategies and same techniques every single place, one place just stood out more than the other.
Okay. And they do speak English in Durban, right?
Yeah, they speak English. Ironically, they do speak their tribal language to each other first. So when people saw me, they were speaking Zulu until I told them that I wasn't from here, or though they recognized I couldn't understand it. Then they spoke English. So they don't want to speak that. What I mean, that man's language. They don't want to speak that first. They speak their native language first.
Okay. So let me share touch screen. Hold on. So let's pull up because you sent me some photos. Let me see if I can pull this on up to see how the ladies are looking up there. So I think we got it right there. So okay. So let's see what we got. Can you see the screen?
Yeah, I can see the screen.
Okay, bet. All right. So she's nice looking. What's her story?
Oh yeah, she was somebody I ran into last time in the mall, and we just kind of kept, communicating and things like that. I think I had posted this in a group, and then brothers was like, they was floored. They were like, wow, she's a stunner.
Hmm.
That's just kind of what you will see. You know what I mean? Like I wish brothers didn't have this negative view based on what they see on, they don't see enough women like this in, social media or things posted. But South Africa has just as many beautiful women as Brazil does, and this is just one example.
Okay. Okay. She got a nice little figure on her. That's the tender over there, right?
Yeah, that's the tender over there.
Okay. Nice looking. Okay. Is that the same girl from the first picture?
No, that's a different one.
Okay, she's cute. Do you see they wear a lot of their natural hair over there?
They do. I mean, they wear wigs. They braid their hair, wear wigs. They have short. You see a lot of girls with their short hair. They really wear like weave or wigs seldomly. They wear their natural hair more than they don't.
Okay. Yeah, she's a nice one. So, like, is it like, in Medellin, it's cool to cold approach women. You can say, hola, como estás, how you doing, all that good stuff. Is it the same vibe there where you can kind of just approach any woman when you on the street or in the stores or anything like that?
Yeah. When you're in Colombia, you can definitely, you approach women in Brazil. Even if you can't speak the language, you can.
He getting it though. That's a DJ, huh?
Yeah. I saw this on. I saw this in one of the groups. I was like, yeah, this South Africa right there. They was hype.
Oh, nice, nice. That's pretty sexy right there. I like that.
See, brothers not used to that now. What's crazy is that if she was in Brazil, brothers be like, oh man, the Afro-Brazilians, man, they bad. But as soon as you say they from South Africa, it's like, okay, they straight. That's something you can see in the U.S.
Oh, wait a minute. You think so? Hold on. You think so?
Yes. Yes.
So you think the guys kind of like are preferring South American women because they envision them a little bit more exotic looking, a little bit more submissive. They're just not sure what's going on in Africa. Because the thing is, we don't really run into Brazilian women in America like that. You know what I'm saying? So the aesthetic of
Brazilians that look like her.
Exactly, but like you'll run into African women in America, and we pretty much don't, for the most part, we don't really date each other like that. They kind of like stay in their own little, community to a certain degree. They don't really, they don't really date us. They date other African men. Same thing with a lot of Ethiopians. They date other Ethiopians, for the most part. I know it's different up in DC, but at least where I'm from, you try to holler at, a chick from somewhere in Africa, unless she's second generation or third generation, it's going to be like, nah, I'm good. So that might be the reason why, we just not familiar with it. Now, me personally, I'm always willing to, give it a shot. Because,
I mean, you got a point. I mean, if she was in the U.S., I mean, brothers would just not even bother because they just kind of feel like they kind of have preconceived on how they're going to be received if they're in one country versus another country versus another country. But, I've seen brothers that will say the women in African countries look too average, right? But then they would go to Colombia, they would go to Brazil, and the first woman, the first woman that they would talk to would be an average Afro-Latina. So it's like, okay,
now, I'm gonna be honest. Now, Colombia got some bad Afro-Latinas though.
They do.
They got some bad ones though.
But I could make the same argument. Okay, yeah, you could get somebody look just like her in the U.S. because that's the same.
And then it's the language. And then the language barrier is the biggest thing, the biggest issue.
That's the biggest thing. But they would say, I could find her. They like this girl. They'll say I could find her in the U.S. But let her be in Colombia.
I feel you. Because they do look a little bit more exotic. They do look, they look a little differently. And it's more of a mixture out there as well. Like a lot of times, especially in South America in general, they families are like intermixed. Like a female showed me, her family. I'm like, who was all those people? She was like, oh, that's my dad, that's my mom, that's my uncle. I'm like, damn, y'all like the rainbow. Y'all all different. She was like, yeah, that's what we do. So
True.
It's definitely a different mixture out here. So let me now this just like a nice little resort or something.
It's like a little rooftop lounge in Durban.
Oh, nice. Got the brother out there popping the champagne bottles for you. That's what's up.
Yeah,
Look nice and chill, man.
yeah, it's nice and chill, man.
Okay, I see that little dunk in the background there. Okay. Oh yeah, she's cute. She's cute. Okay. Now, is there like a particular tribe in Durban? Because I know it's like tribal out there.
Yeah, I would say Durban is in the province called KwaZulu Natal, so it's Zulu, pretty much mostly Zulu.
Oh,
Um,
Shaka. That's that Shaka Zulu tribe, basically.
yeah, yeah, Shaka Zulu tribe.
Oh, dope. Oh,
Um,
dope.
Even the airport is named King Shaka Airport.
I
You
seen that
know,
today when I was looking at prices.
yeah. Shout out to King Shaka. Um, and then they have another group called Kosa. Kosa. They do a lot of they do a lot of clicks in their language, so like closer.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, in Durban is mostly Zulu.
Okay. She's really cute. She's a cutie pie.
Oh yeah, she got a lot of her Instagram. If y'all want to follow her Instagram, she is nice. She is nice.
Yeah, she's beautiful, man. They look a little different, bro. I mean, I can see what you're saying. What some of the guys are saying as far as they do look very similar to American Girls. But if I saw her in the States, I would ask, like, yo, where you from? You look a little different.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. So that's like a little grocery store there.
You have like a little grocery store there.
Just women everywhere.
Yeah, man.
Oh, nice. Okay. So let me ask you this: what is the family structure there? Do you have to say if you meet a young lady out there? Do you have to pay a dowry or something if you want to take it to the next level?
Yeah, most of the women, not all, but most of the women still want to adhere to the cultural norms.
Mm-hmm.
So they would,
Yeah.
out of respect, they would want you to, if you want to marry her, they would want you to tell her that you're ready for you to meet her father and her uncle. You know,
Okay.
and that would kind of start the that process.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Nice. Nice. I think that's all the pictures right there, bro. But yeah, they're beautiful though. Yeah, she's real nice. That's her Instagram, guys. If you want to follow her on Instagram. So yeah, man. All right. They asking all types of questions in the chat, but we can't answer all of them on YouTube. So we had said that earlier. He said, "How is it approaching a female?" Let's do the comparison real quick, and we'll
Okay.
wrap it on up, man. Uh, let's talk about the attitudes as far as the Brazilian women and the women from Durban or the uh, Rio women, because we all know Rio is kind of like touristy, is metropolitan areas. So you still get that kind of like that fast city vibe where you might try to approach a girl and she's like shoot right past you like she don't hear you. Is this similar there to Durban?
Oh no, I mean Durban. I mean, way more approachable. I haven't experienced where someone just kind of cold shouldered me, didn't act like they heard me, anything like that.
Oh, nice.
Um,
Okay.
I think, yeah, very respectful, not disrespectful towards men at all. You know,
Hmm.
so yeah, definitely more approachable. I addressed a comment about this question about attitudes and things like that.
Hmm.
So what I want guys to kind of think about is that when you speak English, you know what I mean, and my significant other is Colombian, and
Hmm.
she speaks English too. When people
Hmm.
speak English, they can express their attitude more. They can express how they feel towards you because they know they kind of understand the mannerism and the language, so express their frustration or attitude or disdain towards you. When you don't speak another language, it's hard to express that because you haven't used Google Translate. Like I used to date women, let's say in Colombia, and I used to try to have disagreements with them, but we really couldn't argue like that because she couldn't understand English and I really couldn't understand Spanish. So,
bro, you know I've been through that. I know exactly what you're saying. Like,
so
and then they'll say something like, "Oh, you know what I'm saying? You understand what I'm saying?" You know, I'm like, "No, I actually don't know what you're saying. You're speaking a million miles an hour. I'm just seeing this right here." You know, and I used to respond, "C," and she'd be like, "Yes, what, Aaron?" Because I'm like, I don't know what you're saying. I'm just gonna say yes. You know, she's like, "Yes, what?"
Yeah, it's hard to get attitudes when it's a language barrier. But when you speak English,
you know what's funny, man? It's funny you say that because I was on the beach in Baja yesterday, right? And I saw this beautiful woman approach, and she was with like I kind of could tell they look a little Colombian, but then I heard them say some Spanish when they walked past. I'm like, they might be, because I know way more Spanish than I know Portuguese, even though it's similar. So they didn't even sit at the table for 30 seconds. She slammed something down the table. She started arguing with them, and they left. And when they was leaving, I was saying it to myself. I was like, Colombiano, like, you know what I'm saying? And she looked back, she was like, "See," like, yeah. And I'm like, yeah, you know, like that's that little attitude they have. It can be sexy at times, especially when you don't know what they're saying, but they can flip like that and then go back to normal, you know.
Yep.
So I think sometimes guys, you know, especially I was out there for a year, so I dated quite a bit. And you might get this, and it's cool, you know, they don't get me wrong, I love Colombian women, but some of I might even say it's attitude. It's like they just flip so quickly and they get real jealous and possessive immediately. Like they go through your phone like within a day or two of you meeting them, and they're gonna always assume that you're sleeping with other women. Right. So that's one of the things, you know, you got to kind of deal with to a certain degree. You're trading something like you date in America, dealing with attitudes and independence and all this other stuff in America, which can be very difficult because I feel like the roles have been reversed a little bit in America. The roles are more traditional in South America and Colombia, but you're still going to be dealing with some of the same attitudes you'll be dealing with. And I think, you know, I just want to put that out there that you still got to date. You still got to court women. Like some guys think that, you know, when we say, hey, Colombian women are beautiful, you know, you're going to go out there. Yeah, you're going to date a lot. You're going to pull a lot of women because they do, you know, they do like Americans. I will say that. But you still got to make sure that she's the one and she's a good person, like anywhere else in the world. Like in America, you still got to date a few women, you know. Right. So I always put that out there for the guys because I thought that when I first got to Colombia, the first couple of weeks, I'm like, okay, boom, boom, I'm dating this one, I'm dating this girl, I'm good. Like these women running circles over the women in the States. And then I'm out there like in month number 8, I'm like, man, it's crazy. You know what I'm saying?
It's not easy.
And the big difference is they don't have no money. I hate to say it like that, but for the most part, most women don't make a lot of money out there. So it's more of a necessity to have a man out there in Colombia. And we know this because we out there all the time. We run into each other on the planes out there.
Yeah.
You know, and for the most part, I would say another misnomer is that, you know, brothers go out to Colombia and they only want to date the mestizos or the lighter complected women. But like most of us date the Afro Latinas.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, somebody say y'all do cheat on those women though. Hey, my boy Jay Clyde. My boy Jay Clyde.
I ain't married yet, man.
Yeah, my boy Jay Clyde says super jealous Colombianas, muy celosos, for real. Very jealous girls, bro. And it's funny. Have you ever, you know, dated a Venezuelan woman?
Nah, I haven't dated. I never wanted to date them just because I know I can't really go too far with them. They don't have
because they passport kind of weak. They can't really go too many places besides DR. I think they can go to Brazil possibly, but their vibe is so different. Their vibe is different, and like the women that I really got deep in a relationship with, I'm still talking to them to this day because they're just so laid back. You know, like they're not really. If you say, "Hey, I'm going out with some friends," they'll say, "Okay, baby, have fun. Call me when you get home," or something like that, right? Like, okay, it just laid back. You say the same thing, you know, to the Colombian girl. You already know what's coming. You know, like, yo, you know, you better not. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
I got friends out there. Where you at? You know, video call, bling bling. Like, baby, you know. So you know, I say all to say, man, you know, the women in Africa, right? Are they more like? Give me some of the things you saw that, you know, I ain't gonna say a negative, but you know, kind of pre-warning brothers, like, okay, this is how they get down a little bit.
Okay, you will run into women. They call them slay queens. That's gonna want the finer things in life. They're gonna want dudes that, you know, I ran into a girl. They want dudes to buy. When you go out to a club, they want you to buy a bottle. They want to sit in the
somebody made a comment about that.
Yeah, they want to sit in the section. You know, sometimes they like to see men waste money. So I could buy food. We could buy enough food where we know we're not gonna finish it up. You know, I was with somebody. The club was about to close, and they like, you know, she like, let's get another bottle. I'm like, for what? The club closed. She like, right. So we could take back. I'm like, why?
That don't make any sense.
And so, you know, and I asked her, she was like, well, you know, some guys, because sometimes the Nigerians boil out. So, you know, they've seen Nigerians spend, you know, $1,000 in a night, like it's nothing. You know, so you will get that. What else you will get? Yeah, I mean, you will get. I mean, they have a Real Housewives of Durban. I didn't know about this, but they have a reality show just like the Real Housewives.
Oh man, they spreading that.
They got a Real Housewives
one of the most
Durban.
dangerous shows, and we don't even understand how dangerous that show is, man.
They got it, man.
It's just as dysfunctional as the one in America, right?
Yeah, just as dysfunctional. You know,
yeah, I bet.
They do have similar issue. Well, they do have similar situations with like divorce, child support. I did do an interview with a lawyer, like a divorce lawyer, a female. So you know, I'm gonna put that on my channel. But she kind of went into detail on that as well.
But what's the thing? Have you heard anything about the child support? If you get a woman pregnant out there, how does that work?
Well, they do have a child support system. They don't have the enforcement like we got in the U.S., but from what I was told that you know that you could go to a place, but they do child support based on like, so let's say if it takes $1,000 a month to raise a child, you're only responsible for 500 of that, and obviously she's responsible for the other half. So they don't do percentages like we do to raise a child. They just do what they feel like is the standard of living of the child. So if that child is used to a certain standard of living, the courts will maintain that, but it's split between parents. You know.
Okay.
So I would say it's fair. They have, from what was described to me, it seemed like a fair child support system.
Okay. Now we had one person in the chat talking about it's a lot of gold diggers out there.
No, I wouldn't put like. I mean, there are gold diggers out there. As far as how many, I mean, I would say they're in a minority, but yeah, there are. I mean, the finer she is, and she know what she can get. I mean, she probably be one of them, you know. But I mean, there's so many women that you don't have to worry about running into them, or you don't have to interact with them. You know?
Okay, I got a question for you from Xavier Lancaster. He says, "Have you seen any business opportunities out there?"
For me, I think the restaurant business is an opportunity, just because a lot of people, from what I've heard, that visited Africa and live in Africa, that been to the United States, they say that they would love to have more American soul food. You know, they feel like they feel like we cook food as Black people. They feel like we cook food better than them. So I mean,
I'm gonna be real with you. I don't mean to cut you off, bro, but that's the only thing well, besides my family, the only thing I really miss about America is like that food, man. That soul food, that good Georgia, auntie, grandmama, mama cooking, man. Like that's the one thing. Sometimes I just be googling on my phone like macaroni and cheese, bro. I just be like, man, macaroni and cheese and honey butter biscuits. Sometimes I ain't gonna lie,
man.
like, bruh, like man, they just don't. The food is good, especially in Rio. Food in Medellin, we all know, a little bland. But Rio has some good food. It's just that Sunday dinner is kind of like, kind of what I miss more than anything. And I can see how they would like it more. They would they would definitely like, I don't know if they have a dish called macaroni and cheese out there, but who wouldn't like macaroni and cheese? You know what I'm saying?
They don't make it. Nah, they don't even fry chicken. They don't even really fry chicken like that. A lot of their foods is grilled, which is probably healthier.
Yeah, which is healthier. Yeah, most definitely.
But they don't cook chicken. They don't cook meats how we do. They don't do it how we do out
here. Somebody said not getting that good mac and cheese abroad. Nah, man, we won't have that. So, bro, I ain't gonna hold you too much longer. I appreciate you coming on the show. I feel like we gave them a lot of good information once again. I'm glad you came on, man, and just giving brothers a little bit something different. Like we talk about Rio, we talk about Colombia, we talk about Dominican Republic a lot, Thailand, but we kind of skip over Africa a little bit. And when you do hear about Africa, you're talking about mostly West Africa, like Ghana, stuff like that, Nigeria and stuff. So I'm really appreciate you coming on and explaining to us, about your trip there to South Africa. Really appreciate that, bro.
No doubt, man. Definitely
and having an unbiased, real opinion, man, because I'm not gonna lie, I see a lot of YouTubers out here and they be flexing a little bit. They be flexing a little bit. They be posting some of the girls in the videos. I'll be like, yo, I know that girl, so I appreciate you being genuine with your information and not trying to, slide everybody and just saying, oh, Durban is the best place in the world. Because we all know that all these countries, they got their good points. I mean, but they also got some little negatives. So we really appreciate that, man.
Yeah, what I want guys to kind of take away is that I don't want nobody to go to South Africa and go to just Johannesburg or Cape Town and be like, man, I ain't really like it. Because I'm telling people, make sure you go to Durban. You know what I mean? So if you don't go to Durban, you know what I mean, in my opinion, like you can't really judge South Africa. You know what I mean? Because those three cities are totally different, different. And it wouldn't be fair to go to Brazil and just go to Sao Paulo. It wouldn't be fair to go to DR and just go to Santo Domingo. It wouldn't be fair just to go to Brazil and just go to Bogota or something like that. Like, you know what I mean? Every country we love, we all have that favorite city. And for me, I think guys would enjoy Durban the most.
Excellent, man. Well, once again, bro, appreciate you coming on the show. Peace.